for an ANDA submission? Or is it acceptable to provide an EU reference product for an ANDA submission?
Thanks, Ray, for that question. At the time of submission, the ANDA, pursuant to 21 CFR 31494A7, an ANDA must contain information that shows that the drug product is bioequivalent to the reference listed drug, and the definition of the reference listed drug is the listed drug identified by the FDA. So in order to show bioequivalence to the reference listed drug, the reference product for the BE study should be from.
Thank you for responding to that question. The next question is also for Dr. Lee. If an applicant chooses to deviate from any guidance recommendation, what would need to be provided at the time of the original ANDA submission for filing consideration?
Thank you, Ray, for that question. At the time of submission, the ANDA, as originally submitted, should provide a justification for the deviation to the guidance recommendation and how the information contained within the ANDA submission meets the regulatory and statutory requirements.
Thank you for responding to that question. The next group of questions will go to Dr. Patel. And here's the first question. Is it required to submit a pilot BE study?
Thank you, Ray, for the question. So the applicants should provide pilot BE study data along with the passing BE study data in the original ANDA submission.
Thank you for responding to that question. The next question is for Dr. Patel also. Out of 3 primary batches for one strength, only one batch showed significant change at accelerated conditions and not the other 2 batches. Should the intermediate stability data be submitted for all 3 batches or just one batch which showed significant change at accelerated conditions?
Thank you for the question. So even though the significant change was observed in one batch of a specific strength, the intermediate stability data should be provided on all 3 batches of that specific strength.
Thank you for responding to that question. The next question is also for Dr. Patel. Shouldn't the side-by-side labeling comparison against the RLD be provided in Module 1.14.3.1 and not in Module 1.12.12 as mentioned in the presentation?
Thank you for the question. I can provide clarification here. So in Module 1.12.12, applicants should provide comparison between proposed generic drug product and reference listed drug product versus annotated comparison for proposed test product with listed drug should be in Module 1.14.3.1. And please refer to ANDA content and format guidance for additional details.
Thank you for responding to that question. The next group of questions is directed to Dr. Nzelibe. And here's the question. The drug product has 2 strengths and both strengths have a different RLD. The ANDA applicant wants to submit the CC to find out if both strengths can be submitted under one ANDA. Which office do we need to address this to?
Thank you for the question. The appropriate office to address this sort of inquiry to would be the Division of Filing Review.
Thank you for responding to that question. The next question is also for Dr. Nzelibe, and here's the question. Can all the strengths of a parenteral drug product with a common formulation but different fill sizes be submitted in one controlled correspondence for a Q1, Q2 assessment?
Thank you for that question. This is actually a scenario we encounter a lot, where a single controlled correspondence is submitted for Q1, Q2 formulation assessment of multiple strengths of a parenteral drug product. So for drug products with multiple strengths, each strength is considered a separate drug product, and if you are seeking Q1, Q2 formulation assessment of multiple drug products, each drug product request should be submitted in a separate controlled correspondence. So for parenteral drug products, the strength is determined by the fill volume. So even though multiple strengths of the drug product may share a common formulation, a separate Q1, Q2 formulation assessment request is recommended for each strength.
Thank you for responding to that question. The next group of questions will go to Dr. Peterson. And here's the first question. Can I add a new usage instructions that is not included in the RLD labeling and the label bottle label of my generic drug product?
Hello, thank you for that question. Typically, an ANDA should follow and be the same as the RLD, except for allowable differences. So we will refer you to 505J 2AV5. Also, 21 CFR 314.94A8.
Thank you for responding to that question. The next question is also for Dr. Peterson. If an RLD is discontinued in the Orange Book, is the applicant to use the RS labeling for side-by-side comparisons?
Thank you for that question. Typically, if an RLD is withdrawn, we do refer applicants to the following guidance: updated ANDA labeling after the marketing application for the reference listed drug has been withdrawn.
Thank you for responding to that question. The next questions will go to Dr. Chuh, and here's the question. For a product listed in USP, is it a mandatory requirement to state USP after the established name in the product labeling? Please note that the product meets all the compendial requirements.
Hi, thank you for the question. The answer will be no. It is not a mandatory requirement that the USP descriptor is used after the established name. However, we do recommend it, but it is not required. But I would like to bring to your attention that that the product subject of US monograph must meet the compendial requirement. Thank you.
Thank you for responding to that question. And it looks like we have time for one more question, and the last question will go to Dr. Chuh. If it's not present on the RLD labeling, must the generic contain discard unused portion?
The answer will be yes. We recommend it. Per the package type term guidance that was mentioned in the presentation, we recommend that the generic products include the discard unused portion statement if the product is single-dose vial. One thing to bring to your attention is that the package type term, such as single-dose vial or multiple-dose vial, should be same as the RLD. But for the single-dose vials, we recommend that you add discard unused portion statement. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our panelists for answering numerous questions that came in. At this time,